Hey, what's going on YouTube? MarineX back at it again. Almost tariff-proof EDC. It's not a 100% a guarantee, hashtag bars, but I will say I've been carrying these items for a little over a week just to refamiliarize myself with some of them. Most are made or assembled in America, or they have a heavy stock. They invest in warehouses here in the States. Tariffs are something that we think about when it comes to EDC and prep. And the items that are least likely to be affected by tariffs are items that are wholly made in the USA with USA sourced items. Those would probably be less likely to increase wildly or quickly. Items that are assembled in the USA with globally sourced items, but they normally keep the parts for the manufacturing process in a higher stock, at least the companies that I chose here, or stuff that is wholly made overseas, but they keep a big stock here in the United States, meaning they rent a warehouse or they let Amazon hold on to a lot of their crap. So that way you're not drop shipping directly from Taiwan, China, South Korea, etc. So some of these are the things that I've definitely been checking out lately. We got to start off with the one that's probably the easiest to recommend right now. This is a nice do-it-all knife, and it's a great competitor to the Benchmade Bug Out. This is the Hogue Deca. Now, the thing about the Hogue Deca, USA made, you can get it in Crucible 20 CV blade steel, which is what I have here. You can also get it in Magna Cut. Both are very reasonably priced. You can normally get this easily below $100 or below $200. If you get the version that I have here, and if you'd want to get the one that has like different scales on it, you can normally find it like 140-ish. I'll link any of this stuff up down below. Most will be affiliate links. Won't cost you any additional money, but it will help the channel out. Their Able lock is their version of the crossbar lock. I mean, look at this icy action, bro. Just ugh. Now, I've had mine for like 2 years, but still, just when you carry this in your pocket and you have this for a while, very, very nice to have. D10 is decent. Only thing I would say about this is I wish the pocket clip it's a little bit different, just different, okay? It's a little big logo on there. And the pocket clip just doesn't really have the swag that I need it to have. Maybe because it's lined up, maybe if they were shaped differently. I don't know. I just feel like it's so much detail work on this knife. And then you give me a pocket clip that seems to be an afterthought, but you know, what do I know? I think it has very unique thumb studs as well. It almost reminds me of the bolts on an AR-15. So, and Hogue is for the tactical bros. They make a lot of stuff for gun accessories as well. That's why the studs would remind you of something that will come off of an AR. Easy recommendation. They have a great lifetime warranty. This has standoffs. It has liners. This is just a well-made knife, and it's great for all sorts of cuts because you can actually grab up here, do those utility cuts when you're cutting into a surface or whatever. The coating on here has lasted really well, and you can send this into the company to get it resharpened. Hogue Deca, easy recommendation all day long. Let's talk about the way you organize your keys. Now, I love the Orbit key or the Key Organizer Pro by Orbit Key, but that is wholly made overseas. Which country? I don't even know. I know they get some of their leather from Europe, and I don't know if they're making it in China, but Key Bar is wholly making their stuff in the United States. This is what I've been using for the last couple of months, actually, to organize my keys since I did my most recent EDC video. Let me tell you something. Going back to this item, between the Key Bar system and their Magnet combo, it's just very, very easy. I like the fact that I have these on me. If I want to go out on a ruck or walk out my front door and to be able to use my front door key, very, very nice. There are all sorts of designs for these things. If you have any issues, it is made in America. You can just send it back to them. They will take care of it. Well made. And I also like the character mine is starting to develop from the scratches and bumps. So mine is titanium and brass, but starting to get a little bit of character on there. I think it looks really good, holds the keys really well. The only thing that I wish I had is a lot of their competitors, whether it's from places like Orbit Key or Jibbin, they are making it so that you can access the keys a little bit easier. That's the only hiccup for me is sometimes it is hard for me to access the key to my tonneau cover or the key to lock up my weapons at night. But those are first world problems. It literally takes me maybe 15 seconds instead of 2 seconds. So not that big of a deal. Easy purchase. I'll link up some ones. I don't think this specific model is available anymore. I have a lot of their OG models. Matter of fact, I'll show you. When you get anything from Key Bar, they come in these nice little cases and they clearly let you know that they're made in USA on the case itself. But they give you all sorts of different parts just in case you want to be able to find different ways for your key bar system to work. I have it in a G10, which this G10 is much more affordable and it's much more lightweight than the model I have up here as well. So it's going to be really up to you, whichever one works. The key bar systems, they have all sorts of tools that you can add to them to make it a little bit easier to access some of your items. I know that, but I like to wear mine as slim down as possible. So I normally will keep just the bare holder here, and then I'll keep all the accessories over here. So key bar, they still get the job done. I'm a big fan of them all together. Next, before we jump into the Multitool, which is another Made in America banger, let's talk about a assembled in America banger with today's video sponsor. This is Vaer and their C3 Korean field watch. This has a solar powered movement. Look at this watch. I mean, it's just a very good looking watch, great looking dial. This watch is paying homage to those that fought during the Korean War. They wore a similarly styled watch with an easy to read face, a reliable movement. It needed to be shock proof. It needed to be resistant to be able to be out in the field for a long time. It even has the Korean map on the back, paying homage, never forgotten for the Korean War itself. I like the way this watch looks. I like the fact it's a 36 millimeter. You can also get in a 40 millimeter, but this thing is guaranteed waterproof. It has sapphire crystal glass, just an easy to read dial. It does come with 2 watch bands, just like anything else that you get from Vaer. And I've talked about this before. I do have competitors from Vaer, okay? None name not be said. I have other watches. But Vaer is trying their best to be a micro brand that hires as many Americans as possible. And assembling stuff in America makes me feel good. I like the way this looks, especially with that contrasting off yellow color for the actual numbers themselves. Great loom, just really good detail. If I had to go with a one and done 36 millimeter, it'd be hard to choose between this one and their Dirty Dozen series because both pay homage to past wars and both look really, really good on the wrist. Use the code on the screen to get 10% off of this watch or any other watch on Vaer's website. And shout out to Vaer for sponsoring today's video. That's an easy recommendation for the watch portion. As I was sitting here thinking about what is going to be like a tariff proof assembled in America, boom, like all day, every day, we can make that happen when it comes to Vaer. Now, I want to talk about the Multitool. Now, this carry that I'm talking about is a pocket carry, something that at the most any day I might have in my pocket. This is an item that might be in my pocket once a week. I'm still showing it to you because there are days when I'm walking around with a Multitool. Most days, something like this is in a pouch. But I have the Leatherman Arc. It's great. But there's something about the Leatherman Free P4 that's hard to get away from. I have 2 of these. One of mine are modified. One of mine are not. I'm going to show you the one that's not modified. This one here just has basically every tool set that you would need. The only thing you're missing when it comes to the Leatherman Free P4 is you do not get the bit driver. The bit driver where you can use Leatherman's bits. It's fine. There are workarounds for that. I have not had an issue with it. I've owned one of these multi-tools for at least 3 years, and that's never really been a big headache for me. One thing I love about the Free P4 is how long the Phillips is. See how long that is? That makes it so if you're going deep inside of a well to actually get a Phillips screw out, that neck on there is much better than most multi-tools. That's why I choose this a lot of times over the Arc, because if I just know all I need is a Phillips, all I need is a slotted, these are just very well done. So you have that, it gets the job done. Bottle cap lifter. Another thing I like about the Leatherman Free P4, it has a box opener. This is specifically designed to open boxes without going too deep into the box. You go down and cut onto the surface of the box, and it will keep you from stabbing the item that might be inside. I like that, and it keeps you from gunking your knife up with a whole lot of tape. And then they have really good scissors on here as well. So I'm a big fan of the Free P4. I'm showing you this. This is 100% made in America. A lot of Leatherman's multi-tools they're assembled all in America, but some of their components come from Mexico, especially the plier heads. So this is one that's completely made in America, and I think it's a really good tool. It is working on that free technology, meaning you can open the multi-tool and you can close the multi-tool one-handed because it doesn't really have that pinch feature, especially prevalent on the Wave Plus. but you're kind of avoiding that with this multi-tool. Easy recommendation. Grab these because I think Leatherman has discontinued these. So what's in stock is what's in stock. I don't think if you don't buy this now, you may never get your hands on it again. A Made in America wallet is hard to find. Okay, there's a few of them that aren't like made in someone's garage. I'm talking about that has like a actual streamlined in-house manufacturing process. One of them are Dango. Not all Dango wallets. They have a select feature that are made in America. This one here, you can see the American flag on there, kind of, sort of, next to the Dango symbol. This is a part of their Made in America series. This is the M1 Maverick. This is a phenomenal wallet. It's just big, but if you like carrying a big wallet, you want one and done, and you don't want to carry a multi-tool, this might be for you. You can carry some of your most used cards on the outside. So I keep 2 of my most used cards on the outside. Over here is an ID card holder, which I took my ID card out, but this is where you normally put an ID card or just something that you want to show very often and be able to have that on the fly at the ready. Now, here you do have a latch system, which keeps the wallet closed, but this is a multi-tool in and of itself. In here, you have a chisel. You do have a bottle cap lifter. It's harder to see, but technically that's a slotted screwdriver. And right there, that's a Phillips screwdriver. So kind of all in one little solution right there, gets the job done. And then when you get inside the wallet, you have more space for more cards. So I have a few more cards that I don't use as often, but I have them in here. You have a strap to hold your cash in there. And then behind it, you get the big bore multi-tool, which you can remove this if you're going to be flying on an airline, because most likely this wallet won't get through TSA if you leave this in. But this is nice because you do have a rope tensioner in here. You have different hex size bits in here. You have a serrated edge on the side. You have a sharp edge for cutting. You have a seatbelt cutter. You have a pry/slotted. So a bottle cap lifter. This is just an overall decent multi-tool. It's very well made. I think it's made of stainless steel. I mean, it's really, really hard to bend. I probably used this thing twice in owning this wallet. I am more likely, when I grab this wallet for using anything, to use this little multi-tool right here, okay? So if I'm walking up to an outlet on a wall or something like that, this is way easier to use than the big one. But if you have a bigger job, if you're sitting at a backyard barbecue and your buddy asks you to slice up some bratwursts, yeah, this can do it, right? So a nice straight edge, you're not gunking up your knife. I like this wallet a ton. Last but not least, one thing I wanted to talk about is the flashlight. Now, these are harder because I know there are mag lights that are made in the USA. There are some Surefires that are made in the USA. They're kind of expensive for no reason, or they're inexpensive and they have like very bad, low candela, not very good lighting. Like, you got to find the sweet spot, the ones that like police officers use for those flashlights, and those are pricey. So I wanted to find a flashlight that I trust to go on my weapons, a brand that goes on my weapons and in my pocket. And that's what led me to the Streamlight. Now, the Streamlight is made overseas, but they keep a large stock in the United States. That's why I make it is a little bit more tariff resistant for the pricing for stuff that's already in stock. This is the Streamlight, the ProTac 2A/X. This is the version 2 of the popular 2A. Now this has a built-in rechargeable battery, and that makes it now go up to 550 lumens, but you're still getting 10,000 candela out of this light. That's why I like this so much, because it's pumping out a good amount of candela, which gets you a really good beam distance. It has a very nice spot/flood beam. And one thing you get out of this light, unlike some of its competitors, you get a momentary switch. So if you want to do signaling using the same lumen, high lumen output, 550 lumens, you get that momentary switch. This thing does do 550 lumens on the high end. The low end is 40 lumens. And if you run this off of 2 AA batteries, that's why this is called the 2AX, because if this built-in battery dies, you can just throw 2 AA batteries in here. If you run this off of 2 AA batteries, you only get 270 lumens. I haven't had to do that. I just charge it, okay? If it's dead, I'll charge it up for a couple of seconds and kind of make that happen. Now, here's the thing. It was between the Ace Beam TAC 2A or the Streamlight ProTac. I went with the Streamlight because all the switches and controls are on the rear of the light. This one has a switch in the front that go do different modes. I don't like that. The pocket clip on the Ace Beam is obnoxiously big because they're trying to give you the type of pocket clip which lets you to put it on a hat. This thing could go on your hat, but it's a little front heavy to go on a hat. So, but they use that same similar rechargeable battery. So if you want to save money, go with the Ace Beam. But I think for the superior build quality, although the Ace Beam does have a higher lumen output, I think this has more candela, so a cleaner beam, and the emitters can go further. I'm kind of down with that type of stuff. I like the build of the Streamlight for me personally. But if you just need that AA, there's a lot of competitors out there pumping them out. Specifically, you got Ace Beam, you got stuff coming in from Nicor, etc., etc. That's kind of my tariff-proof teardown. Okay, so we're going to call it the tariff teardown. EDC items that may not be affected immediately by upcoming tariffs. Comment down below, what are some items that I missed out on? Should I include some stuff from like Jack Wolf? Should I include some stuff from TRM? I know there was some options out there, but some stuff was made in China. Some stuff is hard to get your hands on. I wanted to kind of get you some stuff that's readily available and basically great for your pocket. This is your first time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.